Everybody will get started at 7 despite the limited attendance. I think everybody knows who I am, but for those of you watching on City Cable, I'm Ryan Strong. I'm the Chief of Police here at the Wayne Police Department. I've been here 20 years. It's a great place to work. We'll talk about, first thing off the bat is personnel updates. Kind of start out with it's a great place to work because we're definitely looking for men and women to join the police department. In fact, right now we're actively hiring police recruits. We have some funds in our training budget where we'll actually send you to the police academy. We'll pay your tuition at the police academy, and we'll pay you an hourly rate while you're at the police academy. That position is, the posting is open until October 10th. You can get an application at the City of Wayne's website. Print off the application, fill it out. On the City of Wayne's website, it talks about all the requirements. You need to take what's called an MCO test. You need to take what's called an MCOLS test. The MCO is just like a written test, just to kind of, ascertain a little bit about you. And the MCOLS test is just to see if you're physically fit enough to be a police officer. But again, we're actively recruiting for the recruit position. So if you know any young men or women interested in joining up, have them check out the City of Wayne webpage or give me a call, 734-721-1414. I'd be happy to explain to you a little bit about the position. Or for that matter, if you know a certified police officer is looking for a job, we're hiring police officers as well. It's a great place to work. We just renewed our contract. We get a very fair wage, I think. There was a retirement, medical benefits, health care, eye care, all sorts of good benefits. It's a good place to work. I've been here 20 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Plan on staying for a while. As far as other personnel updates, we have Officer Preeb, who just graduated from the police academy in June, I believe. He's just wrapping up his training process. He will be out on his own. You'll see him working the streets by him, driving around on his own, I believe October 17th. So kind of an early congratulations to him for finishing up his training process. Officer Preeb is a graduate of the United States Naval Academy. Did a few things after graduating the Naval Academy. Realized that he was really more interested in a career in public service, so here he is. He was recommended by a current city employee, and we're real happy to have him. Our two other younger officers, Officer Marcian and Officer Williams, they're doing great. They've been out on their own for almost a year, and we're lucky to have them. As far as other personnel updates, our other main employees are called police service aides. They answer non-emergency calls, things like that. We're hiring for that too. It's a great opportunity for a young person to, get your feet wet in the law enforcement field. We're always hiring for that. So if you know anybody who's interested, same thing. Check out the City of Wayne's webpage, fill out an application, or give me a call. So this next bit is from our animal control officer, Carl Hicks. He's mentioned he's gotten a great deal of calls to the animal shelter in the past couple weeks about coyotes. There's definitely coyotes in this city. I worked midnights for numerous years in my career, and I'd see them all the time working midnights. They're around. They're wildlife. So just some common sense things. Don't feed coyotes. I know it's dumb to even say, but there are people who do it. Don't feed coyotes. It's putting your pets in danger. It's bringing them into the neighborhood. Nobody wants them, so don't feed coyotes. Keep unattended cats or dogs indoors or in runs. Especially at night, don't assume that the fence is going to keep a coyote out. Accompany your leash pet outside, especially at night. Just don't let your dog out. Turn on your lights. Check your backyard for wildlife. Obviously there's skunks and other things you don't want your pet encountering. So I always do that when I let my dog out at night. Just take a good long look in the backyard. Keep noisemakers on hand. If there is a coyote in your backyard, I keep a whistle in my pocket when I let my dog out at night. If there's something out there, I'll blow the whistle a few times. Chances are that it's going to scare them away. And keep your trash in enclosed containers. Put a bungee cord on it or something. So it's just common sense stuff. Check your backyard before you let your animal out. Don't let them unattended. Coyotes, they're naturally timid creatures, but if you leave your cat out there or your little dog out there, there's a chance that my coyote's a predator. It's going to do what it's going to do. So just use some common sense. So a few recent cases. Very proud of our officers in this case. Unfortunately, we had a string of breaking and enters in businesses back in early this month. Hit several restaurants, some other area businesses. He was finally apprehended September 4th of this year, almost midnight. Officers were dispatched to Steve's Coney Island on a break and entering. Officers arrived. Suspect ran away on foot. Didn't work out so well for him. Officers were able to locate and apprehend the suspect after a short foot pursuit. We received the stolen property, and the implement used to break into the door. The State Police K-9 unit helped us as well. State Police K-9 unit helped us track down the evidence that he threw away when he was running away. And he's believed to be involved in at least 6 other breaking and enterings here in Wayne and numerous other jurisdictions. So once he was arrested, numerous other jurisdictions started calling us. If you look him up on the state police has this web page called michigan.gov/Otis. If you look him up on there, it's public information. He has a long history of breaking and enterings, and I'm sure he'll be serving prison time. Another recent case I'm sure you folks heard about. Just last week, we received a call that a developmentally disabled young woman walked away from Wayne Memorial High School. We used all the resources we had available. We entered her into LEAN, which is called the Law Enforcement Information Network. That way, any law enforcement officer in the country who encountered her would know she was missing. We also contacted the Michigan State Police. They actually dispatched a helicopter. They were doing the pre-flight check for the helicopter in Lansing, and luckily, the woman was found, but the helicopter would have been there within a half an hour. We also used the child is missing. I don't know if anybody got a call from that, but they'll call area numbers and let you know that the child is missing, give a description of it. We also reached out to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, who basically give us advice. They suggested the helicopter, suggested the child is missing, just gave us some good advice. Approximately 6:10 p.m., Canton Police Department located this young woman based on all the media coverage. They were on the lookout for her, and they found her based on that. One of our officers responded, retrieved her, brought her back to her guardian. So it was a good ending, but just, it was kind of a team effort. State police helped us, all these other area agencies, but, we have all these resources at our disposal when something like that does happen. So we're obviously glad that she was found safe. I'll add that several citizens called with solid tips on her. Several citizens called and said, "Oh, I saw her this," and the places the citizens saw were kind of the path she took toward Canton. So next thing I want to talk about was we also put this out on Nixle. I don't know if any of you saw it on Nixle, but it's just a service to get information about your community. We actually use it quite often for like snow emergencies and things when you're supposed to get your car off the street. So it's solid information there. I recommend anybody watching tonight sign up for it. You can go to this link here, or you can text that number. You can text your area code to that number and opt in. You'll receive alerts like this for missing people, severe weather, that type of thing. If there's like a dangerous criminal on the loose, that type of thing, or other local events, I strongly recommend you sign up. Yep. So, or you can go to the web page there too and sign up. Either way. For those of you just in the audience, this will be in the rotation on local cable for a few weeks as well. So I talked about this at the city council meeting as well. These school threats things where people, kids say, "Oh, I heard Jimmy was going to shoot up the school," or "I heard there's a bomb at the school," or whatever. It's a huge problem. I'm sure people saw it in the news. There's some area schools that had to shut down for several days, so kids aren't getting the education. These are serious things. I mean, when we receive a threat that, somebody's going to shoot up a school, we have to take it very seriously, because all of these school shootings, you hear about that there was warnings and, people didn't take the appropriate action. So we have to take them all very seriously, even when kids are just trying to play a prank or maybe get the day off school or something like that. So I just can't emphasize it enough. I'm sure everybody watching on cable, everybody here has some young people in their lives. I really encourage you to talk to any young people in your lives and recommend or just discuss how serious this is. You know what? You can't talk about this stuff. It's just like being in the airport. In the airport, you don't joke about terrorism. You cannot joke about the school threat stuff. You will go to jail. It's just that simple. I hate to, quote unquote, ruin a young person's life, but we take this stuff very seriously. And I'll just read the law. It's pretty serious. A person is guilty of making a terrorist threat or making a false report of terrorism if the person does any of the following: threatens to commit an act of terrorism. So an example is if, Jimmy said, "I'm going to go shoot up the school tomorrow." That's considered a threat of terrorism. Knowingly makes a false report of an act of terrorism. So that would be, I heard that Johnny was going to go shoot up the school tomorrow. He said he was going to shoot up the school. Well, Johnny didn't really say that, okay? So that would be an example of making a false threat. It is not a defense to prosecution under this section. The defendant did not have the intent or capability of committing the act of terrorism. So if little Johnny said, I'm going to, me and my friend are going to go shoot up the school tomorrow, it doesn't mean anything if you don't have any guns or you didn't even intend to do it, that it was just a joke. That's meaningless. You're still committing this crime. Even if you didn't have a gun, didn't have a bomb, you had no intent to do it, it's still a crime. Okay, so a person who violates this section is guilty of a felony punishable by imprisonment for not more than 20 years. Okay, and this felony, I've spoken to a prosecutor about it, you cannot expunge it. So you're 17 years old, it's a 20-year felony. You're going to get locked up. Okay, you're going to go to jail, and it's going to be on your record for the rest of your life. It's not an expungable felony. Okay, so again, everybody watching, I really encourage you to talk to all the young people in your lives about this. It's very serious. The safety of the students at our schools are of utmost importance to us. And when these threats, when they're just like a joke or a prank, quote unquote, they use up an immense amount of law enforcement resources. We have a very small detective bureau, and it stops us from investigating other serious cases. We can't investigate the child abuse or the sexual assault case because we're dealing with this, and it's very frustrating. So I can't emphasize enough how serious it is, how seriously we take it. So I do this pretty much at every community meeting where we just kind of do a map, a few maps. I pick a few different, types of crimes and just put up where the hot spots are, if you can see. So this is suspicious activity. So suspicious activity is where maybe a citizen might call in and say, I saw somebody looking through car windows. Our friends at Neighborhood Watch are particularly interested in this, I'm sure. Or, maybe saw someone suspicious in the neighborhood, somebody who, not from the neighborhood, walking around, looking suspicious, that type of thing. Or maybe an officer is driving down the street and, again, see somebody looking at a car windows or just acting suspiciously. So you can see the pins on the map where things are. The red ones are when there's been more than one. So no surprise, these are focused in the neighborhoods and along Michigan Avenue. Presidential sub there. All these streets in the center of town there. So traffic crashes in the last 30 days. So several along Michigan Avenue there, Wayne Road there. Wayne Road, we tend to have quite a few. Van Born and Marin is typically an area where we have quite a few crashes. There's none in the past 30 days. Michigan and Marin, we had a few there as well. Traffic crashes, I would just say, use some common sense, obey the speed limits, and whatever you do, don't run a red light. Running a red light's one of the most dangerous things you can do in a car over my 20 years of experience. So property offenses, a lot there, obviously. So property offenses are a wide variety of things, break into a car, break into your shed, breaking into your house, stealing something from someone, anything not involving a person, not like hurting someone or assaulting someone, basically stealing your stuff. And again, kind of like the suspicious persons, it's centered around residences. So, again, the center of the town there, John, all those type of streets, subdivisions through here as well, too. So just about property offenses, use some common sense. Again, I'm sure our friends in Neighborhood Watch will attest to this. Lock your car doors. Don't leave anything valuable in your cars. Leave your porch light on. Lock your house doors. This isn't Mayberry. I lock my house door every single night. I lock my car doors every single night. Don't leave valuables in plain sight. Just some common sense stuff. Lock your.
Get out of the car without getting the lock.
Yep, very good. So this gentleman in the audience just said I never get out of my car door without hitting the locks. Yep, common sense stuff. Lock your stuff up. Don't leave valuables in the house. Don't leave a large amount of cash in your house. Your insurance company's not going to help you out anyways if you have a bunch of cash in your house and you get broken into. So common sense stuff would eliminate most of these crimes. So crimes against society, those are things where like drinking in public, disorderly conduct, just acting like a knucklehead. Those are typical crimes against society. So these are, unlike the traffic crashes, don't get too excited. These are over the entire year, as you can see up there. There. So for the last year. So, we had some hot spots there around Wayne Road. So, most likely, somebody with an open bottle of beer or something like that. Along Michigan Avenue as well. A few in the neighborhoods here, but again, the red ones where it's multiple. And they're at the intersection there. So that's just some things we do. Not to get too technical, but there's something called the broken windows theory. We're saying that, hey, if you don't patrol this stuff, if you don't take care of people with an open container of beer or urinating in public and things like that, that people kind of consider the area like a building with broken windows that's no longer taken care of. So it's really important that we stay on top of this stuff. The open beers, the urinating in public and things like, it seems like kind of penny ante stuff, but it's just important we keep on that so people realize that, hey, we're serious about keeping the city safe, and we certainly are serious about keeping the city safe. So that's it for the PowerPoint presentation. One other thing I wanted to talk about is you might see a small addition to the Wayne police cars over the next month. There's some pink ribbons on the back of the police cars just to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm sure most people listening today have unfortunately been touched by cancer or breast cancer in their life. So just a little friendly reminder of how serious it is. If you're willing, donate to a cancer charity. That's really all I have for tonight. Does any of our large audience have any questions for me? Mr. Amos.
Chief, is there any update on the walkaway or runaway from the Chase Bank robbery?
Yes. So so there's a question about the Chase Bank robbery. I would just add it was an unarmed robbery. There was not a gun involved, just so citizens know about, what's going on in their neighborhood. So we have identified the individual. He has not been apprehended yet. So it's just a matter of hearing back from the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office and getting a warrant so we can arrest him. Shortly after the incident, when we had identified him, we can arrest him on what's called probable cause, basically meaning, we have some solid knowledge that, he is the one who committed the crime and we can arrest him. But that kind of only exists for a couple days. Once a few days has passed, we really have to get a warrant for his arrest before we can arrest him. But I would suspect that's going to be coming back soon. I think I would safely say that there's not really a danger to that neighborhood, but we certainly want to get him locked up. Sure. Mr. Amos handed me this Dairy Queen coupon for one free small ice cream cone. So our friends at the Neighborhood Watch and Dairy Queen and the Wayne Police Department all partnered together for this program where the police department is provided with these coupons for free ice cream cones. Not for us, unfortunately. It's to pass out to young people in the neighborhood. If we see the kids doing something good or we just want to interact with some young people, so we'll pass them out. But anyway, we've passed out pretty much all the cards, but just a reminder to all the young people out there, if you got one of these cards, better hurry up and get one before Dairy Queen closes for the year. So go ahead and use it up, get your free ice cream cone. So thanks to our friends at the Neighborhood Watch for the free ice cream cones. Any other questions? All right, well, that's it. I appreciate everybody who came, and we'll do another one of these in probably about 3 months. I don't have a date in mind, but it'll be the same thing. It'll be here at City Hall. In the meantime, check our Facebook page for updates, and that's about it. Have a good night, everybody.